If you're smart, capable, and accomplished, but the moment you hit record, your brain goes blank and your voice, that is usually beaming with confidence, becomes shaky and unsure, this video is for you. Over the last 15 years, I've worked with thousands of professionals worldwide to master camera confidence. And today I'm breaking down why intelligent people freeze on camera and the exact psychological shift that fixes it. I'm Austin Opfer. I'm a creative entrepreneur, media professional, and camera confidence coach. I've worked with Fortune 500 brands, independent creators, medical professionals, and founders, helping them build video-first personal brands. And here's what I've learned. The smarter you are, the more prolific of an entrepreneur you are, the more likely you are to freeze on camera. Not because you're incapable, but because of how your brain processes being seen. Let's break it down. Here's the pattern I see over and over. Someone builds a successful career, they're confident in meetings, they can present to a room of 50 people without breaking a sweat. But the moment that they sit down in front of a camera, alone in their office, with zero audience, they freeze. The silence is just deafening. Their mind goes blank. Their delivery feels robotic. They re-record the same intro 20 times and hate every single version. And here's the question they always ask is, why can I do this in person but not on camera? I hear it from clients all the time. I'm an extrovert. How can I be so talented at public speaking and building relationships, but when it's finally time to record my own content, to take everything I've learned and package my knowledge and create videos for my marketing and YouTube, I completely tense up and freeze. Even if they do get the video out, they'll say things like, oh, I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. They're incredibly harsh judging themselves, as many people are. The answer isn't what most people think. It's not about manufacturing charisma. It's not about being naturally good on camera. And it's certainly not about needing better gear or a fancier setup. A key reason smart people freeze on camera is actually rooted in human evolution. In the modern world, how intelligent people process risk. Our evolutionary leap came through brain development. First, our Croc brain, the amygdala, filters incoming messages, generates survival fight or flight responses, and produces strong basic emotions. But it's primitive. Its capacity is limited and mostly devoted to keeping us alive. Then, over thousands of years, the midbrain emerged, helping us navigate social situations and determine meaning. Then the neocortex evolved with its problem-solving power, built to resolve complex issues through reason. Now that's an oversimplification, but the point is that this development created a hierarchy. Survival first, social relationships second, problem solving last, as far as the evolution of the brain goes. Our brains are fundamentally wired as social instruments. That's why we were able to become the dominant species on this planet. Nothing is more important to us than our social connections because nothing was more critical for our ancestors' survival and reproduction, states William von Hippel in his book, The Social Leap. Put simply, our evolutionary journey created a remarkable paradox. The very capabilities that made us the dominant species, our complex social intelligence and advanced cognitive abilities, have become sources of our greatest psychological struggles. We evolved a primitive Croc brain, constantly scanning for threats to keep us alive, and then layered a midbrain for social dynamics, and then layered a neocortex for problem solving. But here's the challenge. While our ancestors needed to predict others' behaviors and avoid literal danger, our modern minds use these same abilities to endlessly analyze how others perceive us, ruminate on social threats that may or may not exist, and create elaborate negative narratives about ourselves. We're stuck managing both an ancient survival system that treats every uncertainty as a potential danger and a sophisticated consciousness that can reflect on its own thoughts, predict catastrophic outcomes, and judge itself harshly. Your brain is running ancient software on modern problems. No wonder we struggle with confidence and overthinking. Fast forward to today, smart people are good at pattern recognition. You see consequences before they happen, you anticipate problems, and you think 3 steps ahead. That's an advantage in business, strategy, and decision making. But in front of the camera, it becomes a trap. Here's what happens. Your brain treats the camera like a performance stage. And because of your brain's primitive functions, on top of your now superior intelligence, you immediately start calculating the threats. What if I say something wrong? What if I look awkward? What if people judge me? And because you can vividly imagine all the ways that this could go wrong, your brain does what it's designed to do. It protects you. It makes you hesitate. It makes you overthink. It makes you freeze. The nervous system treats pain, loss, and danger as high priority signals. This is called loss aversion. Loss aversion is a concept from behavioral psychology. It means that the pain of losing something, in this case, your reputation, your credibility, your image, feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining something. So what that means is your brain prioritizes avoiding potential loss over pursuing potential gain. And the smarter you are, the more vividly you can imagine that loss, which means the stronger the aversion. This is why confident, accomplished people freeze on camera. It's not a skill issue, it's a psychology issue. And here's what makes it worse. Most people respond to this fear by trying to eliminate it before they take action. They think, I just need to prepare more, I need to write a better script, I need to practice until I feel confident, I need to get my ChatGPT right. Once I feel ready, then I'll hit record. But here's the problem. Confidence does not work that way. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it is a byproduct. You don't feel confident and then act, you act and then slowly over time, confidence will follow. Every time you delay action, waiting for confidence to show up, you're actually reinforcing the belief that you're not ready. You're training your brain that the camera is something to be feared, not practiced. And this is the trap most smart people fall into. They wait to feel ready. And while they wait, someone else publishes. And I say smart people because here's the paradox. Sometimes ignorance is an advantage. A mentor once told me that some of the wealthiest people he's worked with succeeded precisely because they couldn't imagine failure. Their lack of overthinking became their superpower. They had seen an opportunity, think, that's cool, and execute without the intellectual capacity to calculate all the ways it could go wrong. Now, that's not to say that they were dumb, but they may have been a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Meanwhile, brilliant people's minds work so fast and they're so discerning that they talk themselves out of action while these other individuals simply acted. And action, repeated consistently, compounds into success. This is the pattern I see causing the most frustration among my clients. Picture this, you're a decorated surgeon. You've pioneered techniques that changed your field. You have more experience, more patients served, more innovations, better outcomes, every quantifiable metric of excellence. Then you watch some competitor, someone else less qualified, less experienced, build a thriving practice and gain significant public notoriety with their personal brand simply because they were consistent with marketing and video content, with putting their thoughts out there. They didn't wait to be perfect, they just showed up, recorded, and published. And now, they're the ones getting invited to conferences, featured on podcasts, building audiences, capturing market share. And not at all because they were better, but because they were visible. While you were waiting to feel ready, they disregarded feelings entirely and took action, proving they were ready through those actions. Look, this is the cost of overthinking. Someone less qualified takes the stage you deserve simply because they stepped onto it first. So how do you fix this? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires a shift in how you think about confidence. Here's the shift. Stop trying to eliminate fear. Start acting in the presence of it, with it right by your side. This is a concept from acceptance and commitment therapy called diffusion. Put simply, diffusion means stepping back from your negative thoughts and seeing them as objects. When your brain says, this bad thing may happen, you don't argue with it, you don't try to convince yourself otherwise, you simply notice it. I'm having that thought, that this bad thing might happen. Let's get specific and talk about how this works in practice. When you sit down to record and think, I hate the way I sound on camera, just make a small mental shift that instead of accepting that as truth, just identify it as just a passing thought. You transform, I hate the way I sound on camera into, I'm having a thought that I hate the way that I sound on camera. You can even add, that's interesting. Or better yet, you know what? This is not helpful. Not a helpful thought. Small but super powerful. The same applies to feelings. Instead of I am insecure on camera, shift to I feel insecure on camera right now. This distinction is small but crucial because feelings are subjective and fleeting. They change moment to moment, day to day, person to person. When you recognize thoughts and emotions as simple comings and goings of the mind rather than part of your identity, you reclaim power over them. I'm no good on camera becomes I feel like I'm not good on camera right now. It's a subtle shift in language, but it creates profound psychological distance. When you can step back from thoughts and emotions as they occur, observing them as temporary objects rather than permanent truths, it becomes considerably easier to take the next step. In our case, hitting record. When you diffuse from arbitrary thoughts and feelings, it makes it so much easier to set them off to the side or just discard them entirely. A key question you need to ask yourself when inspecting these thoughts and feelings is, if I let this thought dictate my behavior, will it help me create the life I want? The answer is almost always no. So you act anyway. Because when you recognize fear as nothing more than a fleeting thought or emotion, it becomes easier to work in spite of those fears. Those fears are right there next to you, whispering in your ear, but you always take action anyways. You sit down, you hit record, and your mind says, this is gonna be terrible. You notice that thought, you don't fight it, you don't try to make it go away, because if you don't feel ready, you overthink and then wait because you're letting the feeling dictate the action. Whereas if you just hit record and start talking anyways, regardless of how you feel, the first few takes are rough, you stumble, you sound a little awkward, but that's totally normal. You need to enter into a focused flow state of productivity and creative energy, even if you're brand new. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi calls this flow. When you're in a flow state, you escape self-consciousness because you're completely focused on the task at hand. Here's the paradox. When you lose self-consciousness during flow state, you emerge with a stronger sense of self afterward. Giving up self-consciousness seems necessary for building a stronger self-concept, such as someone who's confident on camera. So when the activity ends and the self-consciousness returns, the self that you reflect on isn't the same self that existed before, because now it's enriched by the new skills and fresh achievements from what you did during the flow state. When you're doing something with a clear goal that matches your skill level and challenges you, you don't have the opportunity to be self-conscious. You're focused on execution, on passionately sharing your message, solving your audience's problem, telling your story, or leading their transformation. By take number 10, something shifts. Your brain realizes that the camera isn't dangerous. There's no actual threat. Slowly, fear starts to fade. Not because you eliminated it, but because you proved you can act in its presence. Plus, once you get into that flow state, you'll find how energized you are about sharing what you're passionate about. That's how you build real confidence. Not by feeling ready, but by showing up before you're ready and proving to yourself that you can do the hard things while still adding value to humanity through your content. So here's the framework. Step 1, you name it. The fear, thought, or emotion. Name it. Don't avoid it, call it out. Write it down. I'm feeling afraid people will judge me. I'm feeling afraid people will make negative comments. Naming it and just getting it out of your head reduces its power. This is why people talk about journaling and insist that it helps to bring clarity to the mind, because within your head, things are just rattling around and you're constantly discerning and skipping from this thought to the next thought. It just becomes so overwhelming that when you can purge those thoughts onto paper and help organize them into clear thoughts, it helps to reduce anxiety, it helps you think more clearly, and it helps you to see things in a different light. So the concept is the same. So you want to name it. Step 2, practice diffusion. So when the thought shows up, notice it. I'm having a thought, that I'll sound stupid. And don't argue with it, don't fix it, don't berate yourself for having it, just notice it. In step 3, act anyway. Sit down, hit record, talk for 2 minutes. Don't aim to be perfect, focus on the value you're providing and the problem you're solving. Aim for completion. All the fear that you conjure up in the preparation of taking the action is always worse than the action itself. Once you just start, the barrier is lower and it's easier to merge into that focused flow state. Then once you're done, that sense of accomplishment will leave you buzzing because you now have more refined skill set. You feel a sense of satisfaction because you did the thing. And during that flow state, you let go of your self-consciousness and emerge on the other side with completing the task at hand, having been focused, and you have greater self-awareness and greater skills because of it. In step 4, repeat. Do this 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. I mean, by the time you hit 50 reps, the camera is gonna feel totally normal. Not because you waited for confidence, but because you built it through exposure. The fear doesn't disappear, you just get better at acting alongside of it. Soon enough, fear doesn't even enter into the equation. Now here's what most people won't tell you. This process is not comfortable. The first 10 videos at least are probably gonna feel awkward. You're gonna watch them back and you're going to cringe. That's part of the process. But here's the thing, no one else is watching your videos, especially your first videos. And if you're early on YouTube, most people aren't even gonna see them. And the ones who do, they're more likely to root for you than judge you. Anybody who ever judges you online is someone who doesn't have enough important things to do in their own day, so they have to project their insecurity onto you. That's just the nature of the internet. The only person holding on to perfection is you. As an insecure overachiever myself, I understand fully what it means to have the highest standard of excellence in all things you do. I get it. But if you are waiting for the day when you feel completely comfortable on camera before you start, you will wait forever. Because comfort in front of the camera does not come before action. It comes afterwards. This isn't just about camera confidence. This is about how you relate to discomfort in general. If you're someone who waits to feel ready before you act, you'll spend your entire life preparing. And while you're preparing, opportunities pass you by. But if you're willing to act before you feel ready, if you're willing to be seen before you're polished, you're going to build a level of confidence that can't be taught, only earned. That's the beauty of it. So here's the bottom line. Smart people freeze on camera because they're good at imagining consequences. Your brain's natural tendency to give more weight to potential losses over potential gains. And the solution isn't to eliminate fear, it's to act in its presence. And practice diffusion. Just notice your thoughts that come into your head as just a thing, not truths. I'm having a thought that I might sound stupid versus I sound stupid. Confidence isn't a prerequisite, it's a byproduct. The actions of confidence come first, the feelings of confidence come later. Remember, while you wait for perfection, someone less qualified is building visibility. They're not better, they're just present. They're entering flow states through their own action, not through preparation. If you are waiting to feel ready, you will wait forever. But if you're willing to start before you're ready, to show up imperfectly, repeatedly, until being seen feels normal, you'll build the kind of confidence that actually lasts. Not because you felt good, but because you proved to yourself that you can do hard things. Because you stopped letting arbitrary thoughts and feelings dictate your behavior. Because you asked yourself, if I let this fear stop me right now, will it help me create the life that I want? And when the answer is no, you hit record. If this helped, make sure you subscribe. I publish every week on camera confidence, creator strategy, and the psychology of high performance communication. And if you want weekly frameworks like this delivered straight to your inbox, join Creator Legion. It's my free newsletter where I break down the psychology, systems, and strategies I use with my clients. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.